The Baltimore Orioles take care of business by sweeping the struggling Mets right before they take on a surging Astros team. But we'll look at Game 3 against the Metropolitans. And this one, let's have a mound visit. Let's go O's! What's going on, Birdland, and welcome to the Baltimore Bops YouTube channel where we discuss all things Baltimore Orioles. I'm your host, Bops, and in this one, we're going to be talking about Game 3 of the Birds and the Mets. And the Birds took care of business. The Mets are struggling. They were 50-60 entering in today's game. The Birds put them to 50-61 and dropped them 3 straight times in Camden Yards, and that's exactly what good teams are supposed to do. And it's great to see the Birds take care of business. So, without further ado, let's get into the box score. So the New York Mets finished with 0 runs on 4 hits and 0 errors. The Baltimore Orioles only put together 2 runs on 6 hits and no errors, but it was enough. So Cionel Perez ends up getting the win. Jose Quintana, who pitched very well, ends up getting the loss. And Felix Bautista comes in the 9th and gets his 30th save of the season. Now, let's look at some of the hitters. Adley Rutschman went 0 but he did have a big RBI, and he worked a walk. Ryan Mountcastle went 1 for 4. Anthony went 0 with 2 walks. Gunnar Henderson went 0. Jordan Westberg went 1 for 4. Urias went 1 for 3. McCann went 1 for 3. Ryan McKenna went 1 for 3. And Jorge Mateo went 1 for 2. Now, one of the interesting stories in this game was Kyle Bradish. He didn't allow any runs, and he only pitched 4 2/3 because he really did kind of struggle with his control throughout the game. He only gave up 3 hits. He had 5 Ks, but he also issued 5 base on balls. And so, the Birds defense really had to step it up to keep them knotted at 0 until Cionel Perez was able to work out of a bases-loaded 2-out jam by getting a ground ball to Jordan Westberg. Cole Irvin comes in, he works a perfect inning, gets a K, no hits, no walks. Fujinami looked a lot better. He had 2 Ks, no walks, no hits, and then Felix Bautista came in and did what he does. He gets a stinking K and shuts it down on 16 pitches, moving his ERA to an astounding 0.85. And it's about time, and people are starting to talk about it, that Felix Bautista gets mentioned in the Cy Young conversation, because Felix Bautista is the most dominant closer in the American League. So he comes in, I think he was on it might have been 5 days rest, and he's a little rusty at first, but he got it all worked out, and he got the job done, preserving the 2-0 Baltimore Orioles win. And one of the other things that was really impressive about this baseball game was the glove work. Ryan McKenna made a great play in foul territory on a ball that was slicing in the corner to left field. Ran into the wall, made the catch with that long outfitter's glove, but it was a fantastic play. And then you had Ryan Mountcastle also keeping a ball from going down the line, which could have been a 2-bagger. There were plays like that behind the Baltimore Orioles pitching that really helped them preserve this win. And one of the interesting things also about this series in general is that the Baltimore Orioles won in a bunch of different ways. They blew them out in Game 1. Yesterday, it was just kind of a real thorough shellacking as the game went on. And today, they were able to preserve the W in a pitcher's duel. So it's not like, maybe old times past when the Orioles were constantly relying on, hitting 2-3 home runs a game because they didn't have very good pitching, or, trying to manufacture runs elsewhere. They are winning baseball games in different ways almost every single night. And that just goes to show you how good this baseball team is. The Birds just swept the Mets in Camden Yards. Not only that, they've won 8 out of their last 10 ball games. 8 out of their last 10. They are the hottest team in baseball right now. And that's just before tomorrow's day off and a very big series against the Houston Astros, who will more than likely be one of the other playoff teams that Baltimore might see in the postseason. So this is going to be really big time baseball. It's going to be kind of a playoff-like atmosphere with the Orioles and the Astros going at it for a 3-game set in Camden Yards. I don't know about you guys, man, but I am stinking excited for that one. I am absolutely looking forward to the Stros and the Yos. But once again, how about the Orioles taking care of business? That's what you want them to do, right? The Mets are struggling. They sold everybody off just about, during the just before the trade deadline, and you want them to come in here and just go ahead and pound them into the ground, and that's what they did. They completed the sweep. They took care of business. We get a well-deserved day off tomorrow, and then we go into a really big series with the Stros starting next week. So Birds go to 70-42. The Rays also won, so the Birds keep that 3-game lead in the AL East, and they'll get some rest, and we'll see if they can stay hot against the Stros in 2 days. But we'll talk about that one when that time comes. I'll catch you on the next one, though, Birdland.